Hello everyone, and welcome to this new video tutorial for Maverick Render. In this video tutorial we will explore a practical example using trace sets. We encourage you to view the trace sets introduction video in our YouTube channel first. We will work on this scene which has 3 bottles of wine on top of a reflective floor with a black background. Let's go through some advanced concepts step by step. First we will assign the floor to a separate trace set ID. We double-click to reveal the attributes of the floor object. And in the trace sets rollup we enter ID number 2. Let's now exclude ID 2 from the glass material of the bottles. We will select the glass material and go to the trace sets rollup. There we will enable the exclude list and enter ID number 2. The impact this has on the scene is evident right away. Next we will assign each bottle to a different trace set ID. As you can see, each bottle is a group of objects, so we can conveniently assign IDs 3, 4 and 5 to each. Next we will exclude each bottle from the reflections of the other bottles. This is a typical wish in marketing product visualization, in order to remove distracting visual cues of no real value. Let's enable the exclusion list in each group and enter the corresponding IDs. As you can see, these exclusions remove unwanted visual noise from the render. Let's now illuminate the scene. First we will add a light source to accentuate the contours of the bottles. This is important because the bottles and the background are all black. We normally want to visually detach the subjects from the background to better appreciate their shapes. To this end we will create a backlight which will automatically appear where we want it, facing back at the camera. We will hide this light to the camera because we want to leave the black background unaffected. Since this light is quite hard and strong, we will go to the light's library and pick a gradient to smooth it out. We will adjust its scale in the Ambience Composer and edit its intensity to achieve a subtle contouring effect. Next we will create a light to the left of the scene using the Create Left Light option. We will set a gradient for this light from the context menu. In the gradient node attributes we will switch from circular to linear and apply a rotation so the reflections on the bottle present a degradation from left to right. Let's change the scale and position in the Ambience Composer. Next we will drop a light directly on the right side of this bottle to then adjust its placement with the Normalight tool. This way both sides of the bottles feature a nice looking rim of light. Next we will create a light to illuminate and enhance the labels, which is a typical requirement in images like this. To this end, making sure that no lights are selected, we will select Cam Light, which will create a light right in front of the camera, facing towards the direction we're looking at. We will scale it up as needed so the labels catch more brightness and better capture the attention of the viewer. As you can see, this light naturally reflects on the glass, which may not be what we want. We will cancel said reflection with trace sets. We will assign trace set ID number 7 to this light. In the glass material we will exclude ID 7. The unwanted reflections are now gone. The light to the left is maybe casting more light than it should on the neck labels, so we may want to use trace sets here as well. We assign trace set ID number 8 to the light and exclude it from the labels. To this end, we will select one of the labels. Then disable the Inherit from Group option. Manually assign the label to the same set ID as the parent group, and then exclude ID number 8. We do the same for the other labels as well. Last, we will duplicate the light to the left and set its ID to number 9. We will use lock selection to make sure that we won't be moving any other light by mistake and drag it all the way to the top, as the labels may need a supporting light from above. We will adjust the power of the light and again exclude this light from the glass of the bottles to avoid unwanted reflections. This way the light setup of the scene is all done. Let's play around with Light Mixer a bit now. When we're done, we consolidate the changes to the scene and take a screenshot in the history panel. For the sake of comparison, we will now disable all the trace sets in the scene to compare the result with and without. The difference is quite evident. Trace sets are an extremely powerful tool. But bear in mind that Maverick is a physically based engine, and this visual trickery available via trace sets should be used as a last resort only, or we will risk losing realism in our images. This is all for now. See you in the next video. Have fun rendering with Maverick.